Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So today's video is going to be about a specific champion that has a really amazing kit for several areas of the game, but he has an amazing kit specifically for the sake of Hydra. As the thumbnail says, I am talking about Nekmo Thaar. This champion basically brings you most of the things that you need, or like most of the most important debuffs and buffs for the sake of Hydra, and that is the increased speed on his A3 alongside a turn meter boost and an extra turn on the fourth turn cooldown, which basically takes this down to a 3-turn cooldown because of the extra turn gained. Then he brings you the AoE decreased speed, which again is something really amazing that you 100% want when you're tackling Hydra. You want the Hydra heads to go as little as possible, and you want yourself to go as fast as possible and as much as possible. That's why the increased speed and the decreased speed are arguably the best buffs and debuffs to use for the sake of that. The reason being, the less the Hydra heads go, the lower that counter of the Devour goes down, because the faster they move and they keep eating your champion, the faster the round will end. At the same time, on this AoE hit on the A2, he also brings an AoE leech. What does this do? This basically brings you one way of healing. So without having to bring another champion to heal you up, you can just use the leech. As long as you have War Master on your champions or they smack hard enough, they're gonna just be healing themselves up just through the leech without requiring any other source of, like I said, no healings. You wouldn't need regeneration sets, immortal sets, or lifesteal on them. Just have the leech from Nekmo Thaar and you're good to go. And guess what? That's not all. He also brings an AoE decreased attack on the A1. This one's a 40% chance, and it goes up to 75% chance if they have debuffs. And for the sake of Hydra, you're kind of always gonna have debuffs. Plus, he brings them himself. But you're gonna have you're gonna have decreased defenses, block buffs, maybe decreased accuracies. There's definitely almost always gonna be other debuffs on the head. So this decreased attack AoE is a pretty amazing chance. Guess what? He has more. He brings an ally speed in all battles boost by 90%. So that means you can even run him in a lead in a comp that, for example, uses Inquisitor Shamel, because he's gonna bring you a speed lead, and he brings you all of the good buffs and debuffs in the lead that just makes him to be amazingly paired with Inquisitor Shamel, especially when you have the Head of Torment in the starting rotation. But even if it's not in the starting rotation, if we're talking about Brutal or Nightmare Hydra, there's a high chance that the Head of Torment will come out, and having Shamel keep boosting Nekmo Thaar is gonna make it pretty awesome. And at the same time, guess what? He has even more. He has an awesome passive. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% each time a debuff on an enemy is removed, transferred, or expires. So there's 3 debuffs that he puts on all 4 heads. That's 12 debuffs. So there's gonna be lots of turn meter boosting that you're gonna, that he's gonna gain, and he's gonna keep going. At the same time, he has a pretty good base speed of 104 and good defensive stats, and he even has decent attack for a support champion. But let me show you the team that I'm basically running, and I guess I'm just gonna play the run of the team, because I wanted to show him, I wanted to show how he shines in a team as I specified with a Shamel. So basically the team that I used was Nekmo Thaar alongside Mighty Yuko, previous fusion, alongside Bivold, previous fusion, Lydia, which obviously you would get by finishing the faction wars. Maybe not everybody has her, but if you're tackling, the higher levels of Hydra, of Brutal, Nightmare, you might be at that point where you have her, because it's, you require a certain amount of gear as well. But if you don't have Lydia, you don't necessarily need Lydia, you can bring somebody else in there, because Lydia brings you the increased speed and decreased defense weaken. You can bring an Ugo, for example, instead of Lydia. You would lose a little bit on the boosting, bear that in mind. You lose a little bit on the boosting from Shamel towards the Nekmo Thaar. The reason being this: the A1 of Lydia passive attacks enemy champions with this skill whenever they place a fear, freeze, true fear, all of that. So basically, if you're gonna try to build a comp with Shamel, always try to pair Lydia alongside, because every time the true fear procs, Lydia attacks as well with the A1, and that's even more boosting for your lead. In this case, like I said, Nekmo Thaar. And then we have Geomancer at the end. We all know what Geomancer does. HP burns, lots of damage, damage mitigation, and decreased accuracy on the A1. Let me just quickly show you the presets. So for Nekmo Thaar, I didn't put anything because he has a good AI, so you don't have to change anything. Mighty Uko, I just made sure he prioritizes the A2. You kind of want to remove those buffs and put the block buffs and decrease accuracy there as much as you can. Lydia, again, I didn't do nothing for her. She just runs as she is. Inquisitor Shamel, again, nothing. He only has one active skill anyway. Bivold, actually I forgot, but you want to prioritize the A2, you want him to do that as much as possible, and at the same time prioritize the A3, because this A3, you know, brings you shields, brings you decent damage, and it can bring you, you know, some backup heals. And then Geomancer, when we're talking about the full auto team, which is what I'm going to show, you want him to have the A3 as priority and lock the A2. You know, A2 might help you. You could use it in different situations when you're manualing, but on auto, it can be a little bit tricky. And especially because Geomancer is in a reflex set, I want him to come back to the A3 as often as possible. If you do not prioritize his A3, sometimes he will not use it for like 10 turns in a row because there's a weekend already out there, or because there's like, I don't know, not enough Termite on the Hydra heads. I'm not sure what exactly triggers him using it or not using the A3, so just make sure you do this. But like I said, for sake of Nekmo Thaar, you don't need to do anything because he's always smart. He always does the A3, he always does the A2. You could even, you know, just do this and then this just to make sure he always uses it if you see that he doesn't do it. But let's get into the run. And for example, for the best way to do this, to like start it properly, because of a little bit of a bug that Mighty Uko has, you want to start with the A3, which is the block buffs, on the Head of Wrath, because Uko cannot land it. He cannot land the block buffs because this one counts as a buff, I suppose. And after that, you just put everything on auto. And what's gonna happen is, as you can see, let me move myself on the side so you can see what I mean. Every time you hit the Head of Torment, look at that, Nekmo Thaar keeps getting boosted. Getting boosted. Boom, the AoE 1. He already did the A3, he already did the A2, he did the AoE 1. Now we're gonna get some more hits from Mighty Uko. Guess what? Nekmo Thaar is gonna get another turn, another turn, another turn. So basically, the fun thing about this team is, even though we're fighting brutal, there's no enemy max HP going on. So there's no any max HP going on here. It's just Geomancer damage, and we're all about AoEs. Double AoEs from Bivold, AoEs from Mighty Uko, all the AoEs in the world from Nekmo Thaar, which is a monster, AoE 1 from the sake of Geomancer. So, you know, it's a little bit of a different team, but still it's a thing of beauty. So what I'm gonna do is, obviously I'm gonna back out. I already have a run pre-recorded. I'm gonna play, you know, a few minutes of that run so you can see how it starts, how it goes along. And then I'm gonna jump towards the end and show you the end, and we're gonna come back, we're gonna discuss the damage, and then I'm gonna show you the builds. So, see you in a bit, guys. And we are back, guys. Look at this amazing damage. 36 minutes and we did 74.4 million damage. Like I said, no any max HP. We don't have a Royal Guard. We don't have a Husk in here. We do have Geomancer, but Geomancer's damage is not as crazy compared to everybody else. It's not like, you know, I'm trying to show how good Nekmo Thaar is, and then I show Geomancer doing 40 million damage. Or like, you know, if you had an Acrisia, for example, again, she would do like 40-50 million damage. This team is all well balanced, and it's all made possible because of Nekmo Thaar. Because like I said, 21.8 million damage from Geomancer, 8.5 million from Biovolt, 17 million from Inquisitor Shamel. You might be surprised about this, but yeah, he can do some crazy damage. Then 7.4 million from Lydia, because again, she has an AoE on day 2. 4.5 million from Uko, he's mostly the support and the reviver for us. And 13.9, 14 million damage from Nekmo Thaar. Because of him being in the lead, because of War Masters, and because of the Brimstone on him. But you know what? For somebody that brings so much utility in his kit, to do this amount of damage, that's just mind-blowing, honestly. I'm so happy about this, guys, as honestly, I'm not sure if he's actually better than Krisk or not. I might be overrating him, but still, I'm definitely saying after Krisk, he's the next best champion for Hydra, in my opinion. I just love him. He's just amazing. Let's have a look at the build that I have him built in. So the way that I chose to build him is in a taunting set. Reason being, one, he has all AoEs, so you don't have to worry about is he gonna target Head of DK or not. And two, he's the one being in the lead and always being boosted by, like I said, Shamel when there's a Torment out there. So he's an amazing backup provoker for the sake of, like I said, Head of DK, which you kind of don't want to ever have, you know, the cleanse going out. The stats that I have on him are 247 speed, 400 accuracy. The resistance, I could have pumped up the resistance more because, as you saw during the run, he kept getting the debuffs. If I had him at around 250 to 300 resist as well, this could have been even better, because that way, because we have the decreased accuracy from Mighty Uko and Geomancer, he would not get any debuffs at all. You know, and then after that, just survivability stats, don't care about his damage. The masteries that you specifically want to take on him are Rapid Response, Arcane Celerity, Lasting Gifts, and Master Hexer. The reason for that is you want to extend all the debuffs that he puts out, which are like 3 on all heads, as much as you can. And at the same time, every time those ones expire, you want to get Turn Meter, you know, 30% chance to get Turn Meter. Paired with his passive, imagine how much Turn Meter he gets. A lot. He gets a lot of Turn Meter, so he keeps going and going and going. Same thing for the sake of the Rapid Response, because, you know, he puts an increased speed as well. And at the same time, with the Lasting Gifts, a chance to extend them. Maybe, for example, the team that I showed, it's a little bit overkill on the sake of like the increased speed, because Lydia brings the increased speed, Uko brings the increased speed, but it's like, you know, I wanted to show on a little bit of a higher level. I want to show that he's really good, but those champions can be replaced. Like you can drop Uko, for example, and bring you can bring somebody like a Seifi, maybe, or you can bring a Duchess, and then you can drop a Shamel and the Lydia. This is the idea that you have to keep in mind, guys. Synergies mean everything. If you drop one champion from the team, you might have to use several other ones to replace from this team, so always keep that in mind. But yeah, I also have War Master on him because I want him to do as much damage from his AoEs. I'm just gonna quickly go through everybody else's builds, just show you the builds and their masteries without talking too much about them, because, you know, I wanted to mostly emphasize the Nekmo Thaar in this video. This is the Shamel build. I have him in the Relentless because actually it works pretty good. He gets lots of extra turns and does lots of damage. Over here I chose to take Giant Slayer, you know, in case there's debuffs landing on us. Every time he counterattacks, he can keep rocking this and do some more damage. Then Lady I have in a Reflex, for example. Again, since I use her mostly in Hydra, in the Reflex build she's gonna work pretty well. Again, over 250 speed, so she works for the Doom Thaar as well. Survivability, and then high accuracy and high resist. Mastery is almost the same as Nekmo Thaar, again with the Rapid Response and all that, plus the War Master. Then Mighty Uko, roughly the same mastery, just a little bit different. Like maybe didn't really care about Lasting Gifts here. I care about the Sniper for an extra chance to land a decreased attack as well, because I use him in a different team than this one. This is just I wanted to bring him in to show him in that. I have him in the taunting here, but I don't really need it. Nekmo Thaar and Biovolt keep the provokes up there. So Mighty Uko, for example, you could have in a region or something to keep him alive, because as you saw in the video, he died because he didn't, you know, he didn't have enough survivability, he didn't heal back up fast enough, and because of that the run ended. That run could have gone to like 100 million easily if Mighty Uko didn't die at that stage. But yeah, these are his stats. You might want Uko to be a little bit faster. And then Bivolt again, having a Relentless set, pretty interesting, but he did really well. Relentless set, and then, you know, try to give him a mixture of everything. Accuracy, damage, resistance, HP, you know, it's not crazy damage, but still, he did his job, he did his utility, the provokes, he did his heals on the A3, and he did some damage, so I'm not gonna complain about him. Definitely did a good job. The masteries I chose for him were specifically for, you know, in case you want to make him as a mischief target, if you run him without somebody that has AoE strength, which we had Lydia, you can make him be the mischief target whenever he does his A2. Take this one, extend the strength, and he can be mischief target, then you can drop everybody else's resistances a lot. But if you're gonna use Mighty Uko, it makes it easier because, like I said, decrease accuracy. And then Geomancer again, reflex set. He has accuracy overkill because this is the one that I'm using for the sake of the Iron Twins. So this one, especially for the sake of brutal, if you know, for the sake of brutal, you can go check, like, I'm gonna tell you the stats now, but you can always go check hellhades.com. If you go to the stages tool, he will always, you know, you can always find exactly the stats that you need over there. Let me just show you exactly what I mean, because this is the easiest tool. So if you go over on the website, you click over here, you click the stages tool, it's gonna take you to this page. Once you're here, you go to Hydra, then let's go rotation 6, which is this one, and then go brutal. Okay, let me move myself out of the way. If we scroll a little bit down, you're gonna see here, okay, this is the resistance that they have, and this is the accuracy that you're gonna need. Resistance, accuracy, they need the same thing. This is the accuracy they have, and you know, the rough resistance that you need. This is really easy to show. So basically here, for the sake of brutal, when the Head of Suffering comes in, the maximum accuracy that you need is around 350 to make sure you land all of your debuffs. But yeah, like I said, Geomancer is a bit overkill here, but good speed, survivability stats. Again, you don't care about damage. Most of his damage comes from War Master and his passive. And then these are the masteries that I run on Geomancer. Again, War Master because AoE1 plus chance to extend his HP burn and higher chance to land the decreased accuracy on the A1. But yeah, this was the video for today. I just wanted to, honestly, I wanted to make a video on Nekmo Thaar because he was the champion that when I pulled for him for the sake of the guaranteed, that was a little while back, he was the one that enabled me to easily do full auto Nightmare Hydra teams. Like I already have a video that I showed using. Honestly, I think it's kind of this, it's similar teams. I think it was with him and Duchess. Like I have several teams where I show how easy it can be to do Nightmare Hydra full auto by using him. You know, it's a little bit intensive, but he enables it so much because of his amazing kit. So if you have somebody like this on your account and you're struggling for Hydra and you didn't build him yet, what are you doing, guys? What are you doing? Build yourself a Nekmo Thaar and he's gonna be amazing for you. But this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye, guys.